Welcome back, everyone. Good to see you. Um, Not literally, but good to see that there's folks in the chat ready to rock. Someday I'll figure out how we can do this and actually say hello. Maybe we'll have, maybe that KaziCon, we can figure out how to get that sorted out. So, just as an update, I am still working on how to launch a conference on this Twitch channel. So, figuring out a few logistical things and working on speakers and getting everybody roped in. So, there'll be more to come with that. But that certainly is something that we can look forward to in 2019, which is crazy to think it's almost 2019. So I hope you're off to having a good holidays. I know some of you are already off on vacation with family and friends. Enjoy that time because in 2019 we're going to get rolling again. So as a connection to that theme, I want to talk about celebrations. This is another topic that Lori Blue suggested in our Discord server. If you haven't been in our Discord, links are below. You can type exclamation Discord and see how to get in there. It's free. If you are a subscriber, there are subscriber only rooms that allow you to continue the conversation with fellow subscribers, tackle a few things. We do have some completely open rooms because that's how we roll. We don't want to close everything off. So that's just how we like to operate. So, oh man, we got some questions queued up. Okay, let me talk celebrations quick, and then I will cycle back for everybody real quick. This is something that I know I've done a poor job of historically, and luckily, my wife corrected me on this. So I grew up through sports. Sports was a huge shaper of me, and one of the things that was drilled into my head was what happened last play doesn't matter. What's most important is the next play. So I was conditioned very early and very frequently that forget what happened last time. We're going to do a little quick lesson, a little retrospective, and move on and learn from that. So I've always been very focused on the next thing, the next sprint, the next release, the next feature, the next whatever. And I very seldom take time to hit the pause button and look back and celebrate things that went well, things that we did well, to highlight those things. That's how my mind works. Again, that's how I was conditioned because of the situations I was put in with sports and everything that went along with that. So that's just how I roll. The mistakes I made was, and my wife was very frequent in pointing this out to me, was not everybody thinks like me. Like, I'm not normal. And I need to realize that. Most folks appreciate hitting the pause button and highlighting the things that went well. I did not. So I had to learn as a leader to force myself to stop and highlight with the team the things that went well, the things we're doing fantastically. That's a motivator for people. It wasn't something that motivated me as much as it did everybody else. So I had to learn to change the way that I operate. So the question I have for you guys, and I want you guys to think about during the stream and after the stream and over the holidays, is do you spend enough time with your team highlighting the things they're good at? Think about your retrospectives. How much of your retrospectives are spent on the good bits, the good things, the things you should keep doing, the things you should do more of? Are you spending enough time on that? Or are you and your team solely focused on the things that are bad that you want to fix? Now, of course, it's super important to fix the things that you struggle with because that's how you get better. And everybody wants to get better. But sometimes the most important thing can be, okay, let's stop. Let's talk about Joe and Sue and highlight how fantastic they were on that story of the sprint and how they pulled it together like we've never seen before. And we need more of that. So oftentimes, if you show people what great looks like by highlighting it, by showcasing it, by talking about it, other people say, hey, I want to kind of be like that. So they change their behavior to operate in those good ways. So that's something that I've had to do almost a 180 on, is I spend as much time as I can. Whenever I see anything good, I jam on the brakes. I stop everything. In fact, I did it in a meeting I was in yesterday. I was rolling talking about something and I just stopped. And I talked about this developer that had done a fantastic job, who had done more than we asked him to. And I said it in front of the entire crew because I wanted people to understand that's the behavior that we're looking for. One of the key phrases that sticks in my head is building that culture is about what you permit, and that's the negative side, but also what you promote. So I've focused more, especially lately, trying to highlight and promote the things that I believe are our keys to success. So that's my quick blurb on celebrations. Do it more. I guarantee you're not doing it enough. I know I haven't done enough, and I know I continue to need to do it more. So take some time over these coming weeks to think back on the teams that you've coached, the people you've coached. What does that scale look like? Is it balanced between the good things and the bad things, or is it heavily weighted that you're spending most of your time on the things that haven't gone well? I encourage you to try and balance that scale out. Okay, catching up. Derek, thanks for the 2 months. You might be the first person that subscribed for 2 months. So those of you that do have Twitch Prime subscriptions, you do have to actively renew that every month. So that subscribe button up above me, if you hit that, subscribe for free might still be there if you subscribe more than a month ago. So every 30 days that resets. So you have to actively go and resubscribe. If you so choose, that would be fantastic. I appreciate it, and I appreciate Derek for doing that. Thank you, sir. All right, let me catch up a little bit here. So I know we got to cover, Lynn had an initial question. Josh is Agile had something. Okay, so the tip your presenter option. I want to hear about that, Scrum Sarge. Okay, so Scrum Sarge, I'm going to work backwards here. Sunk costs. Yeah, so one of the things that can be interesting is those things that haven't gone as well, and do they keep coming up in retrospectives? And are you tracking that retrospective after retrospective? Do you put a counter on it? Like, we've marked this 5 times. We've talked about this 5 times and we haven't tackled it yet. So that's something to see. Or I think you've got a great idea of highlighting all of the things that you've changed, all of the things that you've improved. I think that's a fantastic idea, Sarge. So that is a good idea to think about it like that. Catching up on this Wikipedia post here. Yeah, the whole sports thing, and when I think back to in college, so most people think that you go and you watch game tape. So you go, you play a game on Saturday, Sunday morning, Monday morning, you go and you watch the film and you learn. In reality, all of our practices were recorded. So every day before the next practice, we would watch tape of the previous practice. So there was just, the feedback loops were insane there. I got it directly from the coach right after I did something wrong or did something right in practice. Then before the next practice, we watched that previous practice again, and I got all those same positives and negatives. So that way, going out that afternoon, it was fresh in my head what I needed to improve upon. And what I found with me is that if I allowed my previous performance to stay in my head, the negative side of it, if I allowed the negative side of the previous performance to stay in my head, I was not going to perform as well that afternoon, that evening, whether it be in practice or in game. So I had to force myself to let that go. You think about pitchers, if they give up a home run, they can't be thinking that next pitch, because that next batter comes up and he's going to try and hit another one out of the park. And if you're thinking about what you did last pitch, you're not focusing on what you need to do this pitch. So those are the things that, again, have been drilled into my brain that I had to do because there were, so in college, everybody's good. So there were 5 guys lined up behind me waiting for me to make a mistake. Because as soon as I made a mistake, I was out and they were in. Super cutthroat. There was no, hey, we'll figure it out. It's okay, you're not getting it done. Somebody else here can. So we're going to let that happen. So that hyper focus, again, I found for me, I'm not saying this is true for everyone, but I had to learn about myself how I operated. And that operation, unfortunately, carried over into me being a leader. And I expected people to think the way I thought. And that created some frustrations within my team. And I couldn't figure out what the problem is. But luckily, I had a third party, AKA my wife, kind of slap me in the head and say, hey, dummy, like not everybody thinks and acts like you. Like you're not normal. So chill out and sit down and celebrate with these people. Eyes opened, behavior changed, and I just continue to work on it. Oh, these puns are terrible. Terrible. Yeah, Kraz, I think something that you'll find, and I know I am guilty of this, is many engineers are uncomfortable with public acknowledgement, like public praise. But you have to do it again because you have to highlight the things that go well. You have to promote the things that you want to see more of. If you don't do it in public, it's hard for others to see what you really think the optimal behavior, the optimal performance is. You have to highlight it. Otherwise, you're asking people to hit a potentially moving target. Lynn, that would be fantastic. When that happens, because it's going to happen, we need video. We need to share that. Okay, I'm going to work. All right, so Lynn had an initial question. So actually, before I move on, let's just make sure that we're all clear, all cleaned up on the celebration stuff. Not that we can't circle back and talk about it more. I just want to see if there's anything else that you want me to revisit or thoughts that people have about that, because I do want to make sure I cover everything that people are asking about here. Oh yeah, so I was taught, okay, let me reset for you. In Scrum Sarge's question about not comparing people to each other, but praising in public, those seem contradictory. What I should have clarified in the Metacast when I talked about not comparing people to each other is when I'm having a one-on-one with a person and I'm trying to get them to change their behavior, what isn't really helpful is for me to say to you directly, Sarge, I want you to behave more like Derek because I think he does better. That's not very constructive. That doesn't really help you. And it starts this competitive nature of I'm comparing you. So now you start to look at Derek and start to say, hey, why does he like this guy more? Right? There's not enough substance there. The promotion, again, is a highlighting, not directly comparing people. You have to promote the behaviors that you want to see the team grow into. If you don't promote it, if you don't show them that example, when it happens, when it's fresh, when it's right in front of everybody's eyes, is it really fair for you to expect them to get there without coaching them along the way about this is what the finish line looks like? This is what better looks like. You make it really hard on the team if you don't show them glowing examples of what you're after, because that does leave a little bit of guesswork with them. When you're in a negative discussion with somebody, there's very little positive that can come out of comparing that person you're talking to with somebody else that's there. That doesn't help the person you're giving some bad news to or some challenging news to. That doesn't help them think about this in a positive manner. So that's the separation that hopefully I've clarified a bit on. Oh man, snow cones and cookies? Lynn, do you have job openings? Because if you do, I might come join you. I love snow cones. I love cookies. With the snow cones, am I allowed to put as much of the syrup and flavoring on as possible, or does someone else do that for me? Because that's a big determining factor for me there. I want to be able to just hold that bottle upside down and see all the green juice come flowing out, and then maybe a little bit of orange and mix that up. If I have the capability to do that, I'm coming to join you. Oh, fantastic. All right, I'm catching up here. Yeah, you never skimp on the syrup. Never, ever, ever. Thanks for the link, Sue, for that podcast. That should help people catch up. Oh, Scrum Sarge. That's a fantastic idea. I never even thought of that. Gosh. So I do find, to Jamie's question, that as a leader, there's times where I've had to, and it's tough because the team kind of gives you that look and like, oh, well, this is forced fun. What you're doing in that instance is you do have to get people out of that comfort zone as developers. And I am one of these people. This is how my brain works. Like, I am more comfortable sitting off at a cube doing my thing. Yes, I like people. I like to engage. I like to talk, as this Twitch channel shows. But my natural comfort zone is alone. But it's a team game. It's a team sport, what we do. So there are times where you do have to drag people out of their cubes and get them to engage. Asking them to do that, sometimes forcing them to do that, again, promotes that teamwork that you're looking for. There's times where you do have to be the bad guy and say, so-and-so, I need you to stop working on that feature and come and join the team. I get you're into it, but this is actually more important to me right now and more important to the team than you fixing that bug. It's more important to me and to the team that we spend time together, growing together, celebrating together. That's going to win in the long run. Again, the thing you might have to do is you might have to connect with them and be very blatant with the why. Be very clear about how you think this is more important than that line of code that they're writing. Getting them to understand that they are more than just those 50 lines of code they're going to write that afternoon. They are a member of a team, and there is investment that you're trying to make to grow that team. Those are those things that I've found can help people get them out of their chairs and say, okay, I'll give it a try. Then I bet the next time they're more willing. You keep pulling them, they're going to be more willing, and pretty soon you're not going to have to ask, because they're going to see the promise of that why that you talked about pay off. Sprints are going to go smoother. Communication is going to open up. People are going to be more willing to have the difficult discussions because they have those relationships and connections. That's an investment. So explaining to that developer that doesn't want to come out of the cube, the investment you're asking them to make can help get them out of that chair. Yeah. Okay. So I have to get the pause button because I'm gonna keep rolling on this because it is important to me, as you've seen or heard some of the mistakes I've made. Again, that's all I'm trying to do is just share the mistakes that I've made in hopes that folks out there make a few less mistakes than I did. That's what this is all about. Okay, let me scroll all the way back up to the top. Lynn, like right when it started, jumped in and said, I have a question, which is fantastic and exciting. Thanks for keeping me in check, Scrum Sarge. Gosh. Okay. So Lynn asked the question. She said, or he said, I don't know Lynn. I guess I shouldn't assume. So you can correct me on that. I'll just say Lynn. Lynn in Texas. I'm guessing that's what that TX means. I have a question for discussion. Internal versus external coaching. Employee versus consultant. Different styles needed. Other pitfalls. Okay. All right. I got it right. So I'm actually wrestling with this behavior myself, because historically I've been an internal coach. 6 months ago, I made a flip to start my own company, in turn this channel, and become an external coach. One of the things that was exciting for me about becoming an external coach was you've hired me to come in, give you a quick dose of my experience and my knowledge and my expertise. If 6 months later you choose not to follow the advice, the instructions, the education that was provided, that's your problem. That's not my problem. Historically, I would join a company and I would be in this long slog of, okay, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to start making changes, I'm going to run into brick walls, it's going to be tough, it's going to be frustrating, but in the end, I'm going to win. And I would hang on to that, and that's how I kept the positivity going for myself, was always believing that we were doing the right things, celebrating those little wins, knowing that I was changing the hearts and minds of the organization. Doing that's difficult. That took years. It was painful. It was frustrating. It was challenging. Now, the difference is that when you're an external coach, oftentimes you're not there for the long haul. So you have to go in, and I found that I had to be less patient. So when I knew I was going to be there for 2 years, 3 years, whatever, as long as I thought, I didn't go in and join a job and expect to leave in a matter of days or months. I knew I could play the long game, because I knew, I was confident that we would win in the end, because the things that we were doing were the right things. So I could be more patient. When I was an external coach, when I am an external coach, I don't really have the time to be patient, because I've got such a quick hit of, I'm there for X number of days, and I've got to come in and I've got to make a difference. People are paying me to make a difference, and they're paying me to make a difference quickly. So I felt this extra pressure to be more prescriptive, more stern. I'm not sure what the right term is, but I felt this pressure of, I have to give more now, because I'm not going to be here 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now. When I was an internal coach, I had time. I could play the low slong game. The low slong game? The slow long game. I'll get my words in the right order. I'll get the letters in the right order. But I always could rely on that, because I knew, okay, cool. You don't like what we're doing? That's fine. I'm going to be here. We're going to get this. We're going to win. It's like erosion. That was always the mindset I had, was, how much erosion did I get today? How much of that mountain have I been able to wear down? Eventually, it's going to be flat. As an external coach, I didn't have time for that. There was no erosion. I didn't have time. Did I have to drop a bomb and just blow up the mountain? So it forced me to think and operate a little bit differently. So from my perspective, that's the difference in how I've attacked those two different problems. So I'd be interested to hear thoughts that people have about those two different scenarios that people might be in. Yes, the slog. So while people are responding, for those of you that have previously subscribed with Twitch Prime, you do need to actively renew that. It does not automatically happen. So if you hit that subscribe button up above, it could say subscribe for free, or it could say not yet. I think that's what it says when it's not yet time. So just a heads up there. I appreciate all the subscribers. Derek is our first 2-month subscriber, so it does keep track of the number of months in a row. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay. So Lynn's follow-up question, how do you balance a self part while an internal coach? Those are things that right or wrong, I've not focused on. I've always believed that if I'm doing my job and doing it well, my career is going to progress in the ways that I want. Now, what may happen is the career progression may not happen in the direction you want in the company you're in. But I valued the experience that I've gained in all of those different challenges in the slog, that I knew I was more confident for that next challenge, whether it was with the company that I was working for currently or whether I went and found something else. I'm not a very patient person, which is good and bad. If I didn't feel like I had the opportunity to grow in the directions I wanted to grow in the company that I'm in, I would go find somewhere else that would enable the growth that I was looking for. Sometimes that happened after 2 years. Sometimes it happened after 7 years. It was just one of those things that was different for me. Fire Sue, hey, it's the holiday season, I understand. You got more important things to do. You got family to see, friends to see. Go take care of that. We will chat lots in the new year. Thanks for stopping by, and I look forward to saying hello on the replay, so you can get that hello again as many times as you want. Maybe you can clip that hello. Scrum Sarge has been really good about making clips from every chat, so I appreciate that. Oh, work schedule. Okay, I understand. I gotcha. I understand. It happens. Sounds like they're good events, agile events. That's progress. That's process. That's what you want. Okay, so we addressed Lynn and her question about internal, external. Scrolling back to Josh. And anti-patterns with C-level. All right, my friend, fire away. Uh-oh. My internet just dropped for a second. Is everybody okay? Are you still there? I hope so. We'll find out. Okay, Jamie, that link that you just posted, that initial image is a tad overwhelming. Okay. All right, Josh, so we are ready for your question. Looks like you had to step away. So your question around anti-patterns in C-level executives. Fire away. We'll see what we can do to knock this out. I know. I think so. One of the things that I do when I want to do that is I just hit the clip button and then I go and tackle it later. So at least it's in that moment. We can do that later. Okay, so Josh, I need a little bit more. How to identify the anti-patterns and be empirical. So be fact-based, be like data-driven, trying to make sure I understand. And then given your follow-up, is the executive you're talking to, are they the anti-pattern creator? Are they the problem child? Are they the problem executive? Because that will kind of adjust the tone. Yeah, you could drop a bomb on the mountain. If you need to do that, just know the side effects. Know the collateral damage. Okay, so a little bit more. What is the anti-pattern? So you can drop the bomb on the mountain right here. It's a safe place, right? This is a bomb containment zone. It's going to happen one of these days, people. We almost had a Mrs. Kazi sighting. It was so close. Okay. All right, so So product decisions are being made behind the team's back. Is that what's going on? Yeah, I know. I keep saying, you know, you would be a hit. You'd be famous. We would take the internet by storm. Maybe Christmas Day. I'm pushing hard for Christmas Day. Okay. So in that situation, the empirical data that I try and come back with is the amount of features that are left half complete. So my assumption, definitely a Kazi-Khan, my assumption is the executive, sounds like a he, based on that, has the team going in one direction, then partway down that path changes direction again. So at that point, what work has been wasted? How much work has been wasted? And there's times when that's okay, that's appropriate. But the key is to know and understand, okay, by making this switch, we're voluntarily throwing away this work that a day ago, 2 days ago, we thought was the most important thing for us to do. There's times where that might be the correct answer. Most times it's probably not. Assuming you've prioritized reasonably well, there's tremendous value in what your team's been trying to deliver. And now you're taking that and putting it on a shelf. If you can show the number of features and a percent complete or something like that, or maybe number of points or number of sprints or something like that, and say, in the past 6 months or the past quarter, the past year, this is how much work we've wasted because of the change of direction that you have created. That should hit that person like a ton of bricks. That's a way to quantify the distraction, the waste that's being created. Yeah, see, that personal piece is the hard part. That's where the Crucial Conversations book is a fantastic guide into having this, because what probably happens is the person feels attacked. They probably don't often hear feedback like this, so they're not conditioned to it. They're not ready to hear it in a positive manner. So one thing that you might do is just show that spreadsheet and say, listen, we have a problem, or I perceive this to be a problem. This is how much work we've wasted. How do you think we can fix that? I've got some ideas. I want to put it in front of you. I want to enlist you in helping me figure out this problem. Then what you do is you guide them to that answer. It becomes their discovery. They all of a sudden are the smartest one in the room. And I've got it. And that's when you know you've won. That's when you know you've succeeded. Yeah, there are so many books to read. Like, I know in my back seat, it's kind of embarrassing. There's books stacked up in the back seat of my car that I try and read in the few moments I catch between here and there at a practice while I'm waiting for a child or something, or I've got a little bit of downtime, or even I take it in with me at lunch when I'm going to go sit down and grab a bite to eat. I do not spend enough time focusing on that. Yeah, I think Lynn makes a fantastic point about, is the roadmap, is the backlog visible and shared with that executive? Do they even know? Like, they might not even know because it might not be visible to them. Number one, somebody should be saying something, to Josh's whole point of we need to get them to understand that. But one of the things that you can and should do is regularly provide updates. Provide a view of, hey, this is where we're at. Hey, we just updated our roadmap. We just updated our priorities. This is what we think we're going to do. This is where we're headed. This is what's changed. Here's why it's changed. Here's what's happened. They might be trying to drive the ship with blinders on, but you can remove those blinders if you're really doing Agile well, and you kind of have to with your name, right? As Josh is Agile, like, I just assume it happens. If you're doing well, that transparency is there. You just might have to rope them in and make sure they're paying attention and seeing it. That is so. When I coach teams, that is the very first thing. I think that's like my second slide. Actually, here, let me pull this up for you guys. I don't know how I can do that. No, I can't get it done. I can. It would take some time. The second slide. I do want to open this up. Give me a second here, folks. Just open it up in Drive. My leading set of slides, which is titled Agile Success Training. My first slide of real content that's not intros or agendas or anything like that is common anti-patterns with a picture of Homer Simpson face palming himself with a classic dough. And bullet point number 1, a common anti-pattern is that it's a license for leaders to change direction whenever we want. With a sub-bullet of, hey, we are agile, that means we can change direction at the drop of a hat. That's the number one misconception that I see. That's why it's the number one thing that I talk about whenever I'm coaching anybody. So at that point, what I try and get them to understand is it doesn't mean we should change direction whenever we want. What Agile provides is it provides us the ability to make the small adjustments along the way to make sure we hit the mark. It's not fire and forget. It's not we have one cannonball and we're going to line it up and shoot and hope we hit. We have a machine gun with a lot of bullets, but we don't want to just fire bullets into the ocean blindly. We want to fire, adjust, fire, adjust, fire, adjust. So at some point, every shot is a direct hit. It doesn't mean you don't plan. It's not a license to not have a long-term vision and consistency. It does not enable and empower leaders to make those silly choices. Man, Scrum Sarge, look at that. Yeah, let me figure out how to get that slide. Let me see. Bear with me for a second, folks. I can get there. I can make this happen. So hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. Or while you're talking, hit that subscribe button. Or if you haven't subscribed yet, you want to hit the follow button. Or hit both. Go ahead. I'll wait. All right, I'm getting there. All right, we can do this, my friends. Oh my gosh. That's not going to work. Bear with me as I figure this out on the fly. There we go. I think we got it. Woo. Okay. You should see it. Let me make a few adjustments here. Okay. There's my slide. Those are the four most common patterns that I've seen. Cool. All right. Let me figure out how to hide that. Actually, I think I can make this happen. And done. Okay. We're back to normal. Yeah. So, Lynn, again, none of this is required, and Scrum's right. The best thing about Twitch Prime is you don't have to shell out any of your money. So, I appreciate that. There are other channels, and you can pay. You can subscribe with your cold, hard-earned cash. I would be ecstatic. I would be amazed that you would find it important enough to do that. But certainly no requirement. I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can. And subscriptions are cool. Subscriptions are fun, and they, again, help fuel. But really, honestly, the thing that drives me, the thing that's most important to me that will keep me doing this is that number to the left of the follower goal. Yeah, it's important to me to get to 100 followers. That's cool. That's a nice metric. But in reality, the goal is that we keep growing the number of viewers. So that 10 in the upper left hand, that's the number of people that are actively here chatting and engaging. So that's what's important to me. The goal of this whole Twitch channel is that we create a community that helps each other. That's what this is about. This isn't about me having all the answers. I assure you that is not correct. I have some answers, and I'm pretty sure some of them aren't the right ones. But the key is giving people a community to come in and have the discussions here in Twitch, continue in Discord. Again, I know there's a million channels out there. I know Slack's the main one, but these two work insanely well together. So I am asking people, if you want to continue the conversation, Discord is the approach that we're taking because of how that works. I understand. Yep, I got you, everybody. I understand. But that's the thing that's going to keep me doing this, is if we can keep growing that 10, if we can grow that 10 to 12 to 15 to 20, that's the thing that puts a smile on my face, is can we actively affect more people? Can we help more people have a better tomorrow than today? That's the ultimate goal. That's all I want. And the more people that are there, the more people are helping each other. The more people, the more that discussion happens in Discord. That people have a place to go. They have a friend. They have a community. They have a mentor where they can reach out with the tough questions. Okay, cool. So, small disruption. Josh, if there's anything more that you want me to cover, since you're not in Discord, that's normally where we would continue the discussion. You can do a whisper in Twitch. I'm not exactly sure how to do that. People whisper to me. That's like a side chat. Lori Blue is always hitting me up with fantastic ideas on that. So we can have that discussion. We can continue in whatever way you would like. Happy to help. Okay, so let me scroll back to the top here. Lynn, I think we tackled yours. Then Josh, the sea level stuff. Josh, do you feel better about that? Do you feel like you can go and start making a dent in that? If you're internal, again, think erosion. Don't think dropping that bomb on the mountain. Or maybe you discover after a time that erosion's not happening. Maybe it's made out of granite and you don't have enough wind and sand to wear it down or enough rain. So maybe at some point you do have to drop that bomb. I just would not start there. Okay, cool. Let me try and catch up. I think we may have had some other questions. Are we good? Did we tackle it? Have we done it? As Bob Galen would say, should we stick a fork in it? Yeah, always fantastic advice from Scrum Sarge. He keeps me in check, makes sure I answer the questions. Always fantastic point of view. Thank you, Scrum Sarge. Let me hold on. Let me get a. Oh, I did it wrong. Jeez, this guy can't even do it himself. Oh, extra I. Yep, my fault. See? Man, burning underbrush will speed up erosion in the future? Gosh, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I want to cycle back before we shut things down here. Got about 10 to 12 minutes left. That celebration, one of the things as a leader for anybody that has people reporting to them, that is a direct line manager, one of the things that's often said and often discussed is the amount of time that's spent on underperforming individuals that report to you versus the overperforming people. It often does average out like a bell curve. But I would bet if you're managing a team, you're spending more of your time with the underperformers. Should you be spending an equal amount, if not more time, with the overperformers, trying to highlight them, trying to generate more people to operate like them? That's one of those things, again, that I know I'm not good enough at, that I continue to try and stay focused on. That's why, again, I keep trying to focus on the positives and promote. That's become my first reaction, is what can I promote to start to change the behavior. So that's what I'm working for. Yeah, those wildfires are scary. Gosh, I've got some family in Northeast California. Just crazy. The concept of a controlled burn is insane to me. I don't know how you control burning, but apparently people do it. They do it well. Apparently sometimes it doesn't go well, as we've seen and learned. So for instance, here's a story from yesterday. Working with a team, and a developer pulled something in from off of the backlog when there were still items that hadn't been completed within the sprint. At that point, I had a choice to make. What do? Do I go and sit down with that person and say, hey, why'd you do that? Here's the behavior that we're expecting. I had two other options, and I chose those two other options. The first thing I did was I went in the team's chat room, and I actually provided a link to the burn down chart, which in reality was a burn up chart because they were adding things. So I asked the question. I said, what's going on? We're actually going backwards. We haven't completed anything, yet we're pulling more items in. Why is that happening? The reason I did that was because I ultimately want the entire team to start asking those questions without me being there. So to me, it was more important in that moment, instead of just sitting down with that person, is to say, hey team, we have a problem. Hey team, we're doing something wrong. Hey team, what are we going to do about it? Hey team, What are we going to do differently next time? Hey, let's focus. Let's actually get something done. Somebody gave me a book that was entitled Start Finishing and Stop Starting. And I actually hung that up in their cube. I said, this is what we're trying to do. And then actually the message that hit me this morning was, it's kind of insulting to that product owner. That product owner puts all that work to get the backlog in the most optimal order for the business. Says this is the most important thing. So why would you circumvent all that work that they did and work on something down here in the middle of the backlog because it's easy? Agile's, when you think about it, is really simple. You stack rank things from top to bottom, and then you put the most important things on a board, and you focus on moving them from left to right. That's it. There's no challenge. There's no secret. It's top to bottom, left to right. It's like grade school stuff. Yet, it's hard. I find that in those moments, it's those things of, I've got it 90% of the way there, 80% of the way there. That final 10%, final 20% is the hard bits, the hard things. Maybe it's not hard. Maybe it's the stuff I don't like. Maybe it's the stuff I don't want to do. It doesn't matter. It's our job. We signed up to move those things from left to right. We hadn't completed our mission at all. We haven't gotten close. Yet we're going to work on something else because that's the easy thing to do. So after that, we had a larger team meeting, and I chose to promote a member of that team. I talked about the things that they had done, how they had picked up things that they had never done before. They asked for help. They picked up that most important story. They didn't go pick the story halfway through the backlog that was going to be easy for them to knock out and have a small personal win. They dug in and figured out the things that were most important based on the backlog, based on what we agreed to do, and rolled up their sleeves and found a way to get it from left to right. They hadn't gotten all the way there yet, but they remained focused on that. So in that moment, I chose not to go have that one-on-one discussion. I chose to put it on the team and say, team, we've got to do better. This isn't the operating norms that we agreed to. This isn't the order of work that we decided was most important for ourselves and for the company. So get them thinking. Then in a public setting, talk about someone on the team that's operating the way, in a true agile manner, the way we're looking for everybody to operate. So we're going to start there. We're going to watch that change happen. Yeah, Kraz, that's a tough one. The challenge there is, and you and I have talked about this before, it is how you talk when you don't trust anybody, when you really don't trust the team, you really don't trust the people, you really don't believe that somebody wants to come in and do a good job. The fear I have, the fear that grows inside of me when I'm working with somebody like that, is, why do they think like that? Is that how they think? Are they trying to do as little as possible? Are they trying to do as much as possible? That's the question I start asking myself. Is, what kind of person asks that question? How do they operate? How do they lead? How do I protect myself against that? You know, that's one of those things that's a challenge. Josh, you've done a reverse board from right to left? Impressive. Is that just a board you made yourself, or is that in some tool where you got the ability to say, we're going right to left? Yeah, I finally got one of the teams I'm coaching to stop pre-assigning work to people. Again, that's why I went back to that channel, that team channel, and said, why are we doing this? Everything I said was we. They keep driving home that message of we the team. What are we going to do about this? Why are we doing this? Why are we allowing this to happen? What can we change? How can we do better? Okay. Yeah, it's a, you know, Kraz, back to your shudder-inducing thought. Number one, I'm sorry. But you do have to think of where that question comes from. And what is it in their path to here got them there? Got them to, I need to ask this question. Is it that's how they operate, or have they in the past operated that way themselves? Or led a team that worked like that and allowed it to come to that? It didn't create the culture where trust is a thing, where people have this vision they're driving towards. That is more of the manager mentality than the leader mentality. So that's a challenge that'll be interesting to see and hear you tackle, and have you come back and say, this is what we did. I look forward to it. Scrum Sarge with the guilt. Josh, I look forward to the discussion. I think you'll find a lot of value in it. It's good. So, all right, everyone. I'm going to shut it down today. I got a sick little boy home with me, so I'm going to go take care of him. I appreciate chatting with everybody. I will be streaming on Tuesday, Christmas Day. I don't expect it to be very long. I want to stop in and say hi to everybody. Don't feel obligated to be here. Spend time with your friends and family. I'll be on. When I started this, I was talking to myself. I'll be perfectly happy to talk to myself again. But what I've found is very important to me is maintaining the consistency with the schedule. So I'll be here. You can catch up later if you want. We can say hi on Discord the day before, the day after, whatever you like. I do appreciate everybody helping us grow this channel, growing the way we are, helping each other. I appreciate that. That's what I really value. Yeah, the subscriptions are cool. Yeah, the follows are cool. The most important thing for me is that we help as many people as possible. I appreciate you guys coming here and helping each other out. Have a good day. Enjoy the weekend, the time with your family and friends. Make it special, folks. We'll see you.